So you've got the roof on. Now how do you get paid? How do you make sure that they still have all that money to pay you? Part 3, the unexpected part 3. We've had a few questions about this recently, and so to help other roofers understand the process and how to get the best reputation, I'm walking you through the process that we use at Roofer Chicks that has won us awards. So go ahead and put the roof on, and then we send a final invoice for the roof to the customer. We also send that final invoice to the insurance company no matter what. We never pay deductibles, never ever pay deductibles. We don't do anything shady. We don't give kickbacks for putting a sign in the yard. We don't put like referral kickbacks on there if they refer us to the neighbor, none of that. What you send the insurance company, I would strongly encourage you on that invoice to only have on that invoice what was on the original insurance scope. If they elected to upgrade the shingle to a better shingle, you might put that on a separate invoice so the insurance company doesn't even see it. Sometimes they like to know that a better shingle was put on, especially when it's a class 4. So if you do put it on the same invoice, make it super clear that this is customer out of pocket, not to be paid by the insurance company, so that the insurance company doesn't get up in arms about the invoice that you send over. And then we wait for the depreciation. Usually the depreciation comes back to the customer within 30 days. That opens up another thing. So the checks, what do you do about the checks? It used to be, when I first started doing this way back when, our bank took third-party checks. Our bank doesn't. So back then when the customer got the check and it was written out to them or their mortgage company, and they both endorsed it, they could write on the bottom of it, you know, make payable to Feller Roofing, and we could just take it to the bank and deposit it, and we can't do that anymore. So now I tell my customer they need to go ahead and deposit the funds in their account, and then they need to write us a check, preferably. We don't like credit cards because there's fees. Up front, before we do the roof, we like to collect the first check amount and the deductible. And the reason that we do that is to make sure that the money doesn't get spent, because sometimes customers spend it, and sometimes they don't even mean to spend it, but it's in their account and there it is. And you know, Billy Bob's car broke down and he can't go to college without his car, and before you know it, at the end of it, there's no funds left. What does happen though, sometimes the insurance company will pay 90 or 100% up front in the RCV, and the customer isn't comfortable giving you all that money because you haven't even like delivered one shingle to the job site. And so that gets into a case-by-case basis. Sometimes with customers like that, I only charge them 60% up front, and then we get the other 40% on the back. I just set the expectations super clear. Like, okay, but you know, at the end of the job, I'm going to need to be paid. And I mean, I don't want to insult them, but you want to make sure that they don't spend the money. It's pretty easy to do. If I've been waiting for the depreciation a long time, you need to be well aware of what your lien laws are. If it goes past a certain point, you might not be able to collect. And so if the insurance company is dragging their feet or the customer is dragging their feet at 30 days, you probably need to go ahead and file a lien. So speaking of liens, lien waivers. Sometimes the mortgage company especially wants you to sign a lien waiver before you've even done the work, saying that you're not going to file a lien on the property, which as a contractor is about the only protection I have if a customer decides not to pay me. So what do? The most important thing is to make sure that it's a conditional lien waiver. And a lot of them are conditional. It should be conditional. It should say, if when the job is done, you do the scope that's outlined in the insurance paperwork, you do it, you pay for the materials and all that, and the customer pays you the full amount listed here, whatever it is, $13,456.13, then once you receive that payment, you won't file a lien. If it just says you won't file a lien, you can't sign it, but you can take them a conditional lien waiver or say, listen, it's the only protection I have. You've got to leave me something in case they don't pay me or I don't get paid. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and drop a comment below and we'll get back to you on it. Or you can watch parts 1 or 2 of this video series.